Just wondering, how's it going, my comic chat armor? We're back with Travis Gibbs. How you doing, Travis?
Good, good, good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, you got a book coming out called Voodoo Nation. It's a little bit different than anything you've done. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. Voodoo Nations is my kind of my first tippy toe into horror and suspense. So what Voodoo Nations is about two missionaries, RJ and Brent, and they traveled to Brazil to set up a. There was basically a big giant flood, and it's a real flood that happened in 2019. So this big flood hit a whole bunch of stuff. They go and they set up camp and they do what missionaries do. They help everybody out. And they come face to face with a voodoo priest who's also helping people out, and they go into a little bit of war, and it's a very psychological thriller. Lots of bad things happen. We get into magic and some evil stuff.
Oh wow! All right, and the book's on Kickstarter now, right?
Yeah, it's on Kickstarter now. We just launched yesterday. We're almost at halfway, which is pretty cool. Luke Stone is drawing it for me, which is really good. We've got covers by Stan Yak, who's big over at Source Point Press. So yeah, it's a big book. We've already got 83 backers on day one, so I expect big things for this book. I'm super excited about it.
Nice, and it's a 4-part miniseries.
Yep, it's a 4-part miniseries where we start out in Brazil, but we go to New Orleans, we go to Mexico, and then we come back to Brazil. So it's a world-treading a little adventure.
All right, is there going to be like spin-off series with this?
Maybe. We'll see how the first thing goes, but if it goes well, yeah, absolutely. I like the universe that we're creating. I do have an idea for a 5th issue if we get there. But really, the 4 issue is our main focus right now, getting that done. And it's not just the main villain is called Bishop Lucas. Bishop Lucas is a voodoo priest who hates Christianity. Like, he's very anti-Jesus and all that stuff. So he's tackling them from that perspective in mockery of the Christian faith, which is it's going to be hilarious and very true and very, very angry. But we have other voodoo priests in everywhere you go. So you meet a voodoo priest in Mexico, you meet a voodoo priest in New Orleans, and they're all going to be different personalities, different structures. We try to be very respectful to the culture of voodoo.
All right. They're like, have you done your research about like voodoo and stuff?
Yeah, of course. I've also, I've done some missionary work myself, so I've heard tons of stories about people who've gone to Haiti and dealt with voodoo priests. But yeah, I've done a lot of research of it, and a lot of, you may not know this, but a lot of people who study voodoo are also Christians. They don't believe they intersect. So if you go to Haiti or Brazil, they worship both. They don't see the difference because Jesus is a person who died and does stuff, and there's all these other spirits around that can do and impact different things. So we try to take it from a very respectful spot, but we also get in some dark place. And again, we remind people this is a fictional version of what voodoo is, and there's some cool stuff.
All right. Yeah, we're going to have to check that out. And Broke Down number 4 is coming up, right? Are you working on that?
Yeah. We're finishing up Broke Down 4. We're about not quite halfway, but pretty close to halfway done. We're hoping to get it out by the end of the year. That's the goal. But this one's a big one. It's 32 pages internal right now. So the normal one's like 25. So this is 32. So it's going to be a big book. We're working a lot. We're getting all the stops, as you know, from issue 3. There's a lot of plot holes that are left open. We left on a big cliffhanger. So yeah, we've got to get that. We've got to hit it really, really hard. And I'm really excited to see where we go with that. Issue 4 is crazy, and a lot of people have been asking me, on the back cover, who's this chick with the mask? So I'm really excited to answer those questions for people.
Can you give us a little hint
of who that person is?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So that person is there's a 5-page preview out. So her name is Mags. Magnolia is her real name, and she is a love interest for Randy. Her and Randy in the past were a love interest, and they were a couple together. And how she feeds into everything that's happened so far, you'll have to see. But yeah, she's a love interest, and she was part of the crew. She was part of the crew with Randy, Denver, and Miguel when they were all getting along and doing jobs together. They were part of a crime crew, and we'll see how that crime crew broke up and got to the point where everyone's at war.
Wow. All right. And is this going to be the end for Broke Down at number 4?
It's not. It's the end for Four Dead Bodies. So Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies will end at that particular event. So we'll end the storyline there, but we will continue the Broke Down universe. So we'll start in basically that ends volume 1, wraps it up. We'll have a nice trade for that at some point, but starts volume 2. So volume 2 consists of 5 books. It's broke down and Tapped Out, which is the first one, which is a wrestling story. So it features Denver, and it features a wrestling organization. And basically, it's a what if. What if a wrestling promoter was so much down on their luck that they decided to kill like a Hulk Hogan? So that's kind of what it's like. So they're trying to kill Hulk Hogan, a Hulk Hogan type character live, so they can have the video and sell it. Like that's what they're trying to do. Broke Down. The second one after that is Broke Down Patched In, which is a 2-part story. And that starts out in Salt Lake City in the punk rock era, because I'm a huge punk rocker. So it starts out there, and then it goes into a biker gang, the biker gangs that we see in Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies. So we kind of tie those two together. We got Broke Down and Freaked Out, which is actually kind of a horror-ish story, which is kind of like I guess kind of like a Jason or like Halloween or like The Hills Have Eyes type horror story set in the Broke Down universe. And we're going to put Denver against someone like that, which will be really interesting. And then the last one is Broke Down in Washington's, and we kind of go over Mr. Washington's history, why he's doing the things he does, why he has the cases, why he has all that. That'll wrap up volume 2, and then volume 3 will be the last volume, and that's Broke Down and Locked Up, where we take tons of these characters who've ended up in prison for various reasons, put them all in one jail with a plot, and get them against each other. So we've got a couple more years of Broke Down.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds like you're really busy.
Yeah. I mean, I've got Voodoo Nation's out right now. We've got Broke Down 4. We've got Cthulhu Invades Oz. So that's been a lot of people talking about that. That's going to be a great story. A lot of people are involved in it. That's a big anthology. It comes out in October. I've got a book called Islands that we're developing right now that I can't really tell a lot about, but it's the basic premise is you're born on a series of islands and you can't breathe without every oxygen breath that you have is accounted for. So you're only allowed so many breaths per your life. And that's kind of the universe. There's a guy who wants to change that system.
Wow.
It's kind of a sci-fi-ish, fantasy-ish thing.
Got a question. Is there any way that they can get more breaths?
They cannot currently. However, if you are born in certain places, they technically get more breaths than others. So every island has their own breath system and how many breaths that they get. So you can get more breaths if you were like a dual citizen or if you were stuff. So if you can get some, so there is semi ways to get some, but not so much. Everyone dies young. There's not a lot of old people, but it's kind of an interesting story. It has to do with gods and a whole bunch of things. So that's being in development. The art is fantastic. And then the next thing I'm working on is called Sacrificial Lambs, which is a COVID vampire story. So basically, the vampires are starving because of COVID, and they do some crazy things to get a whole bunch of people to come out and feed on them. So that's going to be a good look.
Wow, and some of this is coming out this year, right?
Yeah, some of it's coming this year. Cthulhu Invades Oz, Voodoo Nations, Broke Down 4 will come out this year. Islands is going to be done this year, but it depends on whether or not we go to Kickstarter. We may actually be selling that to a publisher, so that may not go on Kickstarter. It may go directly to a Scout or Source Point, so you may not see that till next year just because of the way things lined up. But yeah, a lot of those will be done this year. Sacrificial Lambs, the artist is just taking his time, so whenever he gets done with it, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, he's just doing, he wants to take his time and get it right. So when it's done, and then we'll get it out there.
Okay. And If Cthulhu invades Oz, you're
Yeah.
gonna break up each character with a creator, right?
Yeah. So the way we did it is basically the way it happens is you are getting snapshots of what happens when Cthulhu invades. So every chapter is a snapshot of a certain time. So the invasion takes, for Cthulhu to take over, because Cthulhu wins, spoiler, it takes, about 90 days. And basically you're seeing characters in little snapshots on what they're doing to try to defend. And sometimes the characters of Oz win, sometimes they don't. But each character was given to a creative team. So like Chuck Pino, he got the Tin Man, so him and Kyron are doing that. David Byrne, the publisher of Scout, and Brian Silverback got Jack the Skeleton King. Jack the Skeleton King. That's that's Halloween. That's Night Before
Yeah.
Christmas. Jack the Skeleton Head. And then I've got Dorothy. Richard Rivera from Stabby Bunny. He's got The Cowardly Lion. Jonathan Hendricks, who does Recount, Capable, and all that stuff. He got Tin Man. So we've got it's over 30 creators on this book. It's about 150 pages, so it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, you got some big hitters on there too.
Yeah. It's going to be a big book. It's going to be probably the biggest thing that I've ever produced. So I'm super excited about it. I'm really nervous because it's definitely out of my wheelhouse to do something this big. But I believe I have the right people put together. I believe I have the right fan base. So we're just going to knock it out of the park.
Is it going to come out in sections, or is it going to you can release it all in one book?
Oh, it's one book. Yeah, it's one big giant book. It's one big giant trade.
All right. Yeah, we might have to pick that up ourselves. That sounds good.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. We have a big thing, and if it does well, we have a sequel planned for next year. But we have to see how it does. But yeah, that launches in October, and basically the minute Voodoo Nations is done, that's my whole focus. You're only going to see me talk about Cthulhu Invades Oz. I may occasionally throw some art for Broke Down or some art from Voodoo Nations too, but my main talking points are going to be Cthulhu Invades Oz. That's going to be what I'm doing.
All right. And is the dog going to be in there, Toto?
Toto, yeah. Toto is there. Toto has his own story. It's done by Caleb Pastel and Eric Hawkins, the guy who does Zombie Full World of Oz. I think you reviewed that one, didn't you? Or you had that on your list?
Which one was it?
Zombie Full World of Oz.
I think I might have to look.
Yeah. I think I saw it in one of your when you open the envelopes of what you got. I don't think you've reviewed it yet, but yeah, Zombie Full World of Oz is a big one that's in there. But yeah, Toto's got it. Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Yeah, there isn't a Oz character that you can think of that isn't in the book. We took basically the first movie and Return to Oz. Basically, those two are the characters. So if the character's in there, we've got everyone from the Wicked Witch of the West to the Glinda the Good Witch to Oz himself to the steampunk. I can't think of the name of him, but the big fat steampunk guy from Return to Oz. Yeah, everything.
The Flying Monkeys.
The Flying Monkey's got several stories, but yeah, and it is beautiful, man.
Nice. I know that scared a lot of people back in the day. The Flying Monkeys.
Yeah. Now this story is really, really cool. Even Cthulhu himself gets his own little story by Dust County Chronicles, Joel Rodriguez. So it's so much fun. It's been fun to produce, and I am super lucky because so many people have told me what horrible things have happened when they work on an anthology, especially when it's this big. But my teams have been fantastic. They've all been getting their stuff in. I mean, we're killing it, man. We've got a rough draft where it's going to be good. I'm excited.
Well, what's a lot of downsides to doing a big anthology like this?
Well, paying everyone to be part of it. That's one of the big things. Obviously they're putting a lot of work into it. The other downsides is we've got to raise a lot of money to get this to happen. So that's a big thing to do. So raising all the money to get this produced is going to take a lot of time, a lot of effort. And then splitting up profits, right? Though it was my idea, I have to share it with my whole team, and getting it all done. And everyone's work is a little different, right? Some people are really fast, some people aren't, so I've got a lot of complete stories, but I've got some that aren't.
All right. Is there going to be a big art different change from page to page or from
Yep.
chapter to chapter?
Yeah, because completely different art teams doing completely different art stuff. The only consistency is we have one letterer throughout the book.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, you're really busy. What have you been doing to keep busy with the COVID going on?
Voodoo Nations. That's how Voodoo Nations. That was the COVID book. We didn't come that. I just helped a book called Return to Sender, which is a cowboy book. I just helped that on Kickstarter, got that produced. And then I did a 4-page story for that. It's just keeping busy. I feel like, this isn't my ego talking, I feel like I'm ready for that next step. But to get to that next step, I've got to give you guys some complete stories. Because anybody can write a story. They can write an issue 1, issue 2, but think about all the things you've reviewed. How many things are complete? Like, finish beginning to end. So that's my goal this year, 2020. I want in 2021, when you talk to me, I can give you complete stories. Hey, Broke Down's complete. Voodoo Nations is complete. Cthulhu Invades Oz. All these things are complete. Because that's the big goal of any creators completing stuff. Anybody creates things, but can you complete? And that's my big vibe for 2020, 2021, is giving my fans some completed work.
Okay. And what's when cons coming back? Are you going to be at cons also?
I'm going to wait. I'm not going to go to any in 2020. I have gone to some store signings locally, but they're very, very safe. And, I don't see as many people. They're not stormed in. So, I've taken some risks and done some local stuff, but yeah.
All right. Do you have anything set up if people want to get something signed? Can I send it to you or?
Yeah. If anybody wants to order anything from the website, I can get it signed to them. If you already own a copy and you want to send it to me, I'll happily sign it. That's not a big deal. The goal is to get everyone what's going on, to get everyone involved with the fan community. I try to give back to my fans. I just produced a small little book called Parallels last month, which was just, my extra work, because I've done so many anthologies over the years. So I try to get back to my fans. If you are on my mailing list, I actually gave people a preview of Voodoo Nations, of Broke Down 4, and of Cthulhu Invades Oz in my email list. So, I try to be really interactive and build that.
How can people get on your mailing list?
The easiest way to get on my emailing list is go to brokedown4deadbodies.com and just sign up right there.
Okay. I'll put a link down in the description for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're extremely busy. I can't wait to see some of the stuff you're about to put out. I think I'm excited to see Broke Down finish up and Oz.
Yeah. They all have their own different things, and I think you're really going to dig Voodoo Nations. I totally get if anybody's like not religious and they're worried about the religious aspect, but you've read Broke Down. I'm not preachy. Like, the person who wrote Broke Down, I cannot write a religious book, but it's in a religious setting, right? The Exorcist is in a religious setting.
Yes.
But it's not a religious story. Right? So think of it like that. Compare it more to The Exorcist than, the action Bible of Jesus, But Broke Down, yeah, man, like, I'm super excited about people seeing that, Hopefully when you do your, I'll make it to the top again so you can talk about it, because when you got that early edition copy, you didn't want to spoil anybody. So hopefully we can talk about some of the internals of it. And please, next time I give you one, go ahead and talk about it, man. People
Okay.
get this.
Yeah, we're about to finish up with 200 books. I think we're at I don't even know.
So how does that work? So what are you going to do? Are you going to go through all 200 and get the top, or are you just going to do the latest 100?
I'm going to do the next 100.
Okay.
Yep. So Broke Down's in that 100.
Yeah. We got Broke Down 3 in that 100. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope I did well. I think I was like second last time, right?
Yeah.
Second or third, right? Something like that.
Yeah, something
I got to
like
get number one. I got to keep working hard, Until Cody says I'm number one, I have not made it.
Right. Well, thank you for coming to talk to us, Travis. Is there anything you want to tell the people that we didn't touch on real quick?
Yeah. Voodoo Nations. Please consider backing it. Go search it out on Kickstarter. It is literally our best work. I know if you guys are fans of Cody, you guys saw they did an interview with Luke Stone a couple weeks ago. Also, really good creator. We've put our heart and soul in this book, and I think that you're going to see some amazing things from it. We've got some beautiful covers, and we've got some really cool stuff coming. So come try it out. Some of the tiers even have Broke Down. If you haven't heard about Broke Down, come check it out. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Thank you for having me on, Cody.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Travis, for coming back and talking with us.
Anytime.